Here are my options for May the Force Read With You Readathon. All right, guys, so I said I wasn't going to do a May TBR. If you've seen my vlog already, then you know, but this might go up first. I totally did not plan on doing any readathons this year. I talked myself out of so many. There's one going on in Bookish Drummers Discord right now that I didn't participate in. And then, dummy that I am, I forgot about May the Force Read With You. Oh, I forgot. And so I have created a list of books that I plan to read for the May the Force Read With You. And so we're going to go through these. We're actually going to go through them in reverse order because I'm a dum-dum. And I stacked the books right beside me, starting with what's on top, or what should be on top at the bottom. And yeah, so we're going to go reverse order here. I do want to point out a few things about the readathon before we start. So you can pick, you have a character sheet here, just like this, da-da-da. And it has like your character name, your title, your achievement, species, calling, rank. You can make a little bio here. And this is where you track your abilities, your partners, companions, starships, weapons, all of that right here. Now, I am an overachiever when it comes to readathons. I like to go all in. And this is why I've stopped doing them, because I will try to read 30 books in a month. I've done it. I've done 25. But anyway, I do think that I have great options for every prompt on here, but am I going to read every prompt? I don't think so. The reason being, I have chosen Assassin's Guild, which makes me neutral dark. This is the first time I won't be a Sith. That kind of bothers me. But I did it so that I could get points for the neutral and for the dark and not have to worry too much about it. But as you can see, this says Assassin's Guild, and it shows me how many points I get for each one. And then I can get a moniker, an achievement, and species. Obviously, I don't choose human. I should choose human because then I don't have to do any reading, but I don't. And I cannot complete any of the Jedi prompts. So it locks me completely out of those Jedi prompts. Now, I'm not going to get into the monikers and achievements, the titles, what have you, because that's something that you can find on Breakeven's YouTube channel, his video that he did for May the Force Read With You. You can download the same things that I did, PDF form, and read all of that stuff. But I may be going for some of those. I might not. I don't know. But right now, I'm really just focused on the books because I want to read so many books and I can't decide what I want to read. And I thought that going into May and not having a set plan was going to be a great option for just reading whatever the frick I felt like. That turned into chaos very quickly. And then May the Force Read With You happened, and so I joined. Okay, so for the abilities, we have powers and corruptions. Because I am neutral dark, I can go for either one. Now, I have picked a book for every prompt. Does this mean that I'm going to read all of the books? No, that just means that whenever I fill up my powers or corruptions, I can move on. But let's talk about the books that I have chosen. So, oh, right. We have to start at the bottom. I said that at the beginning of this video and then I forgot. So let's start with partners. Since I am dark, I can go for assistants or accomplices. Now, I've picked a book for every one. Let's start with the First Order, because that is what is at the top here. And it is read a book where the title starts with one of your initials. If you don't know, my maiden name starts with an H. And so I chose Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. This is an enemies to lovers romantasy. That's all I know about it. But I don't want to go into too much detail about all these books because I have a lot to show you. So I will try to give you like a brief why I picked it up, and that's about it. Okay, so for Galactic Empire, I have to read a book that I feel pressured to read. So I don't feel a huge amount of pressure to read this, but I also feel a very significant weight on my shoulders to read this because it's cozy vampires. And I love vampires. and I hate cozy. So but I feel the need to test the waters. That's where the pressure is coming from. And so I have on hold at the library A Tempest of Tea. I cannot remember the author, but I'll post an image up here. I haven't bought the book yet. However, the special editions on Pango that I keep seeing for, you know, right at the amount that I'd have paid for them anyway. I want one. They're pretty. What I know about this is that it is a tea shop by day and a blood den by night. That's all I know. And that it's semi-cozy and it's got vampires. Do I need to know anymore? I don't need to know anymore. You guys might want to know more, but I don't need to know anymore. So this one was kind of tongue-in-cheek, and you know, it is what it is. But Smugglers, read a book where the main character has your dream job. I would love it. Love it. If I could forever be a student, and I don't like dark academia. However, I do have The Will of the Many, and I need to read it because it's on my 12 books by 12 friends, and Nico has put it on my 12 books by 12 friends. But I know that this is like a Romanesque Red Rising, and that we have an MLM style magic system. That's about it. That's what I know. And like, I think I will like this. I went back and forth. And then, you know, Nico was like, I want to see if you do, because you're the one who might disagree. And yeah, just pretty pumped for this one. Plus, it hit a lot of people's best books of the year last year, and that makes me pretty excited. Okay, and then droids, you have to have advanced tech present in the book. And so I have picked Ancillary Sword. I read Ancillary Justice earlier this year, and I'd like to continue with the series. This is about an AI who has this hive mind that she is able to use and go into other entities, and somehow she has been fractured and she is alone, and she's trying to figure out what happened and why is she in one body instead of all of the ancillaries that she had been in previously. So very cool book, very cool book. By the end, I understood everything that was happening, but for the first half I was really confused, and I think it's because our main character is really confused. I would like to reread it and find out, but I'm pretty pumped to move on. Okay, and next we have weapons, and let's see, Lightsaber. I had to pick a book that had a title and the author name in different colors, and so I just got the audio of Seeds of War from Jao Silva. I've heard nothing but great things about this series, so I'm really excited to get into it. I think it's called The Smokesmiths, but I like the idea of the magic system being like smoke. Like, I think it's really cool. Smoke and shadows, like that'll always appeal to me because I love the dark things. We all know this. And so I'm very, very excited to get to that one, but I do own it on audio and no other format currently. And a book that sounds like it is made for me, for Bowcaster, I Have a Feather So Black by Lyra Celine. I've heard that this is the book for me. I've heard from so many people. They're like, oh, I can't wait to see what you think about this because I think you're going to love it. And I'm like, okay. But this is based on Swan Lake. Enter a dark fae lord into the whole process and give it romantasy vibes. So I do think that I will absolutely love this one. Next would be a blaster. Read a book with a weapon on the cover. Now, I do have something that I was going to do. I didn't think I was going to be able to get to the vlog where I read the books that my family picked for me, nor was I going to be able to finish the vlog where I'm reading for my Patreons. So I did put Children of God and Fighting Men on here, but I gave myself a substitute. That would be Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan. You can see there is a weapon that he is holding. Looks like a rifle with some type of like melee weapon on the end. Yeah, just plain awesome, says Brandon Sanderson. But I've heard that from a lot of people, that I will probably like this one. It's grimdark-y, not quite grim, but very dark. And I'm just excited to get into this. I haven't had a good run with Flintlock Fantasy. I really haven't. So this is either going to make it or break it, I think. If I don't love this one, I probably won't be picking up any more Flintlock Fantasy. Then we have Starships and Xwing. I have to pick an X in the title or the author, book with that in it. And I'm going to go with Empire of Exiles. I have been trying to read this for months now. I want to say, oh, I've taken my bookmark out. I want to say 60-ish pages into it. And then my family decided that they needed me, and they needed me a lot, often and now. And I couldn't ever focus on this, so I kept getting confused about what we were doing, who we were with. And so hopefully I can give this beauty the time it needs, because the second book is about to release, if it has not yet. And I want to read this so badly. Next, we have The Millennium Falcon. It says, read a book with a number or animal in the title. So as you guys know, on my 24 books I want to read in 2024, I have Mickey 7. Seems like a book that I can just plug in here easily. And I'm very excited for this. I know that it's about to get an adaptation, so that's probably like the most excitement, or that's where the majority of my excitement stems from, is that it's about to be an adaptation. So I want to know the story before I watch the movie. And yeah, go from there. But Mickey 7 is one I've had a lot of interest in, and I know that there is like it's either a sequel or a prequel that has just come out, Mal Goes to War. So I'm pretty excited to get into this, and a lot of my friends have really loved it. So that's why it's here. Okay, so the next one is TIE Fighter, TIE formal wear. I had to pick a book where people on the cover were in fancy clothes, and I picked Scarlet by Genevieve Cogman, and I'm very excited for this. Again, another vampire story. I will never stop loving vampires. You can't convince me that vampires aren't cool. I will always think that they are cool. And so that's what I know about it. I know it's historical vampires. That's really all I need to know. And companions, we have Volptex, which is read a book with crystals or ice on the cover. I do have The Crystal Cave by Mary Stewart. It's in the other room. And I forgot to grab it and add it to the stack. Yep, forgot to grab it and add it to the stack. So I have been really wanting to read this series. It is an Arthurian retelling. So I really want to get into it. I love Arthurian legends. I love Arthurian stories. This might come up again in this video. I've had them on the back burner for so long that they just both popped up at the same time, and I don't know what to say about that. Porg. My favorite little creatures from all of Star Wars. I love them so much. Oh, we're going to talk about the other Arthurian book right now, The Lost Queen. So like I said, I didn't think I was going to be able to fit my vlog of reading what my family picked for me in April, because my family is needy. So I've added The Lost Queen here. Let me hold the book up for you. So I've added The Lost Queen here, hoping that I will get to it in May. I know I'm planning to do this vlog already, so I will be reading this one. And it'll just add to my points for my companions. And if I read that before May, I have also picked a book that could be a stand-in, and that is King of Wrath. My friend Izzy absolutely loves this. This is a romance, and it's about a CEO, and I've heard that this has good power play dynamics, but I'm not really sure what that means. So I'm just kind of going with it and trusting her recommendation, because I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I have a feeling with Izzy being the one that recommended it to me, there's a good chance. Author. Read a book where someone looks unhappy on the cover. I chose An Ocean of Others. Can't remember the author, but I will post an image of the book. This is one that I got in an Audible sale. I think I got it for like $5 or something like that. So I just went ahead and picked it up. And I don't know much about this except it's dark fantasy. I've heard people talk about this, but it's been so long since I've heard people talk about this, I don't even really remember what it's about, other than I had a lot of interest, saw the book for a good price, bought it, and now I own it. So here we go. Okay, now let's get into the corruptions. So Force Lightning is read a book where the main character has powers. Again, the vlog that I've been planning to do, The Girl Who Could Move Shit with Her Mind by Jackson Ford. this girl has powers. That's all we're going to go with this one. Don't know if I'm going to like the superhero element to it. We'll find out. Now, if I don't read this one, the book that I have on standby is The Paper Magician by Charlie N. Holmberg, which is very short. So would be great to add a short book to this list because every single one of these is a little chunky, Okay, transfer essence. Read a book where the font size of the author's name is bigger than the title or the author's name is longer than the title. Now, I actually didn't have it anywhere the author's name was bigger than the title. That was weird because I know I've seen that on a lot of books, but I don't seem to own any. So I had to go with one where the author's name was longer than the title. And so I chose Abby Jimenez, yours truly. I'm very excited for this. I absolutely loved Part of Your World. And if you can see here, I have this because this is a Book of the Month, Book of the Year winner. And so I got this lovely, lovely book for free from Book of the Month whenever I chose my selection for the Book of the Year nominees. Great Knowledge, start a series. I didn't even want to pick a book for this because there's so many options. So many options. However, I did pick two. Now, back to the vlog where my family chooses what I read. I'm counting this. I realize this is a continuation of a series, but this is the first book of the continuation of the, oh, it left my brain. The Banished Lands. This is part of the Banished Lands, but a separate series from The Faithful and the Fallen. Of Blood and Bone. Of Blood. It says it right there. Trinity Jesus. Jesus. Okay. I've been wanting to read this series for a while. I love The Faithful and the Fallen. If you guys have seen my top 20, you will know that The Faithful and the Fallen is in my top 20. So why have I been putting this off? I have no idea. No idea. So if I don't read this in April, I will be reading this in May. But if I do get around to finishing the vlog that my family chose the books for me, then I have chosen to start a duology. The Coward by Stephen Arion. Now, I've had this on my list for quite some time because Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads was really, really praising it. And so we have similar reading tastes, and I feel like I could really like this. Now, do I know anything about it? No. But I own both books, and I own the Judas Blossom. You can see it right there. So, oh, and I also have Battle Mage sitting around here somewhere. Where did it go? It was sitting on the floor right here, but now it's not. So I don't know where I put it. I own a lot of Stephen Arion without ever having read him before. So I'm going to start this if I have read A Time of Dread by the time I start my readathon or the readathon. Memory Walk. Read a book that has something you fear. I had to stretch this a little bit because I don't really have any fears. I don't have arachnophobia. I'm not scared of ghosts. I'm not a scaredy cat. It's really, really difficult to scare me. Even jump scares, they don't work. So I went with vampires. Yeah, I need to read this book and it's going to happen. So it might as well just happen in May, right? Right? I'm going to blow through this book, guys. It might be the chunkiest book on this list, but I'm going to blow through this book. I love Jay Kristoff. I loved Empire of the Vampire. Nevernight is in my top 10. Spoiler alert. You should have known that. I own a leather-bound edition of it that's fancy. It sits right behind me in every video. So, yeah. We're in the floor right now, so it's not behind me right now. Empire of the Damned. Can't wait. Need it now, though I have made obligations. So I'm going to finish my obligations. I do promise to do that. Oh, and if I haven't said, and I may not have, but the abilities, I only need to complete like 10 of them, or I have 10 slots, but I think I only need to complete like 5 of them to gain my rank. Yeah. So I only need 5 to become an Assassin Guild Master. So I don't have to read all of these books for the powers either. And the last corruption was Deadly Sight. Read a book with a cover that has someone or something looking right at you. I chose Rubicon by J.S. Dews. Recently picked up this audiobook, and one of my friends, I believe it's Caitlin, I'll link her TikTok down below. She has been singing Rubicon's praises for quite some time. Realm of My Mind. She's been singing Rubicon's praises for quite some time, and I've been listening to all of her, please read this. So I picked it up. I liked J.S. Dude's first book. I didn't read the second one because I liked the first one, but was never intrigued to pick up the follow-up, even though I own it. Moving on. I really want to read Rubicon, though. It sounds so good. Now, here's where I fully admit that in this moment right now, I have forgotten what it's about. But I remember thinking, okay, Caitlin, you've talked me into it. Let's do this. I need to go ahead and read Rubicon, and I'm going to. Now, Precognition, I did a dice roll, and if you landed on a 6, you got your roll letter. You had to pick a book starting with that letter. My brain did not want to process that, but I will put up here that I've actually rolled a 6, and 6 is T, so it's going to be These Burning Stars by Bethany Jacobs, another Caitlin recommendation. And yeah, I'm very excited for this one. I'm as excited for this one as I am Some Desperate Measures. Some Desperate Glory. Why did I say Desperate Measures? Anyway, I'm as excited for These Burning Stars as I am for that book. And I have it ordered. It's on its way. It's not here yet, but I have ordered it. Okay, next is Doppelganger, and I had to pick a book with 2 of the same thing on the cover. This has 2 wings that come out from the central image. So I've picked Midnight Never Come by Marie Brennan. I've read Marie Brennan before, so I figured I would pick up another novella by her. This is just me picking up another novella by her. Force Empathy. Read a previous DNF. Now, if you guys have been around for a little bit, you'll know I have a pile of shame. And the one that haunts me the most is Those Once Forgotten by N.C. Scrimgeour. She was my favorite of the SPSFC. And I read the first book for SPSFC, and then I got halfway through the second book, and my brain said, no, this is not what we want. And I started to zone out and everything like that. It was my mood. It wasn't the book. The writing was great. And so it kind of ended up on my pile of shame. And I'm sad about that. So we are going to add it to the I have DNF'd. And so I'm going to pick it back up. Now, you do have to read it from the beginning, which I feel comfortable doing. I feel like I should start it over. Next would be Battle Meditation, and here is where I get to admit to you that I have already gained a power because I rolled a 0. Very excited about that. So that means I really only have to read 4 books. 4 books to gain all of my abilities. Okay, my phone keeps telling me that I'm running out of time, so let's go through the next few very quickly. Force Healing. Oh no. So Force Barrier, it's a cover you dislike. I chose The Burning Throne. This again, if I don't read it in April, we'll move to May. And if I do read it in April, I have picked The Wickwire Watch, which is an audiobook that I've been wanting to get around to, just haven't yet done so. And then Force Healing is a cozy, so I picked Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands because this is the only cozy I've come across that I really love. And so why not read the second book? And then because I picked Zabrak, I had to pick a horror, and Vespertine is going to be the book buddy read for my patrons. And so I needed to have a horror. We're reading a horror. This is what we're doing. So I'm going to have to get some stuff deleted from my phone so that I can upload a video. This is going to be chaotic. But that is the books that I have chosen, the stack that I have chosen to kind of facilitate this readathon, and it's a lot. It's a lot. But I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget I have a Patreon. We are reading Vespertine next month if you want to join us. I always have bingo boards, and we have really great discussions on Discord if you would like to join us. Yeah, we're witchy themed. If anybody's interested in that, we're witchy themed. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.